This is the luxury world. Get inspired with us today and tomorrow. The luxury watch industry has once again found itself at the center of international trade tensions. Following the implementation of a 39% U.S. tariff on Swiss watch imports, headlines have declared a storm brewing over the market. However, beneath the surface of crisis lies an overlooked opportunity, one that rewards agility, planning, and strategic foresight. While the majority of market commentary has focused on the disruptive nature of these tariffs, the real story may be the divergence in corporate response. On one end of the spectrum, certain independent brands have responded with remarkable creativity. On the other hand, industry giants such as Rolex, Patek Philippe, Authorized, and the Swatch Group have employed time-tested resilience. In this video brought to you by the Luxury World, we will break down how the US market is adapting and why this could be a rare moment to secure the most sought-after timepieces. Subscribe to Luxury World for continued access to curated commentary, investment insight, and expert guidance tailored for collectors and enthusiasts alike. Among the most discussed responses is that of Christopher Ward, a direct-to-consumer watch brand headquartered in Maidenhead, United Kingdom. The company operates primarily through e-commerce, delivering Swiss-made timepieces directly to clients across international markets. Unlike traditional Swiss maisons reliant on third-party authorized dealer networks, Christopher Ward maintains full control over its supply chain, enabling rapid adaptation. Before the tariff escalation, the brand's American distribution system functioned through a drop-shipping model. Watches were ordered online, shipped from the UK to a US-based fulfillment center, and delivered directly to the end consumer. However, under this structure, tariffs were applied to the full retail value of each timepiece upon entry into the United States. The recent restructuring reclassified the U.S. operation as a wholesale importer rather than merely a coordination hub. Through this shift, the brand was able to declare an intercompany wholesale cost, presumably a fraction of the final sale price, at the point of importation. As a result, the tariff is now calculated on the significantly reduced wholesale value rather than the full retail figure. This accounting maneuver effectively neutralized the impact of the 39% tariff, preserving the company's ability to maintain pricing stability for its American clientele. While other brands were either increasing retail prices or reducing shipments, Christopher Ward shielded its consumer base from any cost inflation, thus reinforcing loyalty in its largest single market. While agile independent brands pivoted through structural changes, the major heritage houses opted for a different tactic altogether: stockpiling. Reports suggest that Swiss heavyweights such as Rolex, Audemars Piguet, and Patek Philippe began amassing inventory on U.S. soil months before the tariff took effect. The rationale was simple yet strategic: import watches under the previous, lower tariff regime, store them domestically, and ride out the turbulence. This stockpiling effort appears to have been both extensive and coordinated. Estimates point to a 6-month reserve of inventory now residing within the safes of authorized dealers across the United States. Although boutique displays may continue to give the illusion of scarcity, the truth behind the curtain may be quite different. The safes are full, and the moment is ripe. Key references, such as the Rolex Submariner, Daytona Panda, and GMT Master 2 Pepsi, may have become more available than at any point in the past decade, despite the outward projection of exclusivity. This artificial scarcity, long utilized as a tool for brand mystique and weightless control, now faces a logistical counterforce: overstocked inventory due to tariff preemptive imports. Interestingly, despite the mounting cost pressures associated with the new tariffs, none of the major Swiss watchmakers have implemented retail price hikes as of late 2025. The hope among them appears to be that Switzerland can ultimately negotiate a trade agreement with the United States similar to that of the European Union, which faces a comparatively modest 15% tariff rate. Current conditions have produced a moment of rare alignment. Swiss exports to the United States have surged to an unprecedented 3.11 billion Swiss francs during the first 7 months of 2025, an increase of 24.1% over the same period in 2024. The implication is clear. An additional CHF 600 million worth of watch stock is now available in the US market compared to last year. Rather than suffocating demand or inflating prices, the tariffs have paradoxically catalyzed an inventory boom. For collectors and consumers who have long struggled with a lack of availability and opaque wait lists, this influx represents a temporary, but tangible, opportunity. In particular, buyers with established purchase histories at authorized dealers may find this an advantageous moment to re-engage. Increased inventory levels mean that requests for high-demand models, historically met with indefinite delays or silence, may now be met with results. Dealer discretion remains the final gatekeeper, but the game has shifted in favor of the persistent. Understanding the psychology of the authorized dealer remains essential. Although inventory may be present, access is still governed by soft policies, including loyalty, purchase history, and perceived client alignment with brand values. In this context, visibility, follow-up, and timing become tools of strategic negotiation. Those with active client profiles and recent transactional engagement may benefit from more favorable allocation. Additionally, increased stock in key categories, particularly stainless steel sports watches, has reduced the internal competition among EDs to secure shipments, making it more likely that inventory will reach the hands of ready buyers rather than languish for institutional clients or be rerouted through gray channels. However, this window is expected to be finite. Once stockpiles diminish and the full cost of tariffs begins to erode brand margins, price adjustments may become inevitable. Already, there is quite speculation within the industry regarding Q1 2026 pricing reviews, contingent on unresolved trade talks between Switzerland and U.S. negotiators. Although the announcement of a 39% tariff on Swiss watches entering the United States appeared at first to be a severe blow to the industry, the reality has proven more nuanced. For agile direct-to-consumer brands, the disruption became an opportunity to reinforce competitive pricing through supply chain innovation. For legacy houses, long known for conservatism, the response was preemptive stockpiling and strategic silence. As a result, the U.S. luxury watch market has momentarily become flush with product. The illusion of scarcity remains, but cracks in the narrative have begun to show. For collectors, this may represent a once-in-a-decade opportunity to acquire long-sought-after models at retail, without the usual prolonged wait or backdoor negotiations. However, the dynamics fueling this allocation strategy have begun to shift dramatically. The secondary market, which reached unsustainable peaks in early 2022, has undergone a significant correction. Data from late 2024 and early 2025 indicates that pre-owned prices for popular sport models have stabilized after declining approximately 15% to 20% from their historical highs. For instance, while a steel Daytona still commands a premium of over 130% above retail, the downward pressure has forced speculative flippers, who drove much of the 2021 to 2022 frenzy, to exit the market. Simultaneously, Rolex has signaled an increase in production capacity, with new facilities rumored to boost annual output from 1 million to 1.3 million watches. This dual action, increased supply coupled with reduced speculative demand, is actively shrinking the gray market premium. In conclusion, the claim of massive, hidden Rolex stockpiles held by ADs is a sensationalized interpretation of a highly effective strategic allocation model designed to foster artificial scarcity. Nevertheless, this model is now operating within a softening macroeconomic environment where increased production and reduced speculation are forcing a natural market correction. This stabilization has reduced the leverage ADs once held over the average consumer. For the discerning collectors seeking to purchase at the manufacturer's suggested retail price, the current market dynamics undeniably present the most favorable conditions in years, turning the long mythologized hunt for a Rolex from a near impossibility into a calculated, achievable goal. The industry's next move will likely depend on how long the current inventory buffers can sustain demand. Should trade tensions persist and price increases follow, the current availability will once again retreat into myth. But for now, in the face of a regulatory storm, a rare pocket of access has opened for those prepared to act with precision. What are your thoughts on the current state of the luxury watch market and the trends discussed in this video? We would love to hear your perspective. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments and give the video a thumbs up if you found it insightful. Do not forget to follow Luxury World for more curated content on fine timepieces and market insights. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to welcoming you again in our next video.